The alarm went off at 12:15 p.m. Ojukwe slapped it off with the groan of a man who had too much whiskey and too little sleep. Outside, St. Cloud wore its usual winter coat. Gray skies, hard winds, snow flurries drifting lazily across sidewalks. But inside his apartment on the third floor, the air was thick with the smell of last night's beer and leftover tacos. He stumbled into the bathroom, splashed cold water on his face, brushed his teeth like he was sanding a wall. And then it came back to him. The story. One of his friends, David, or maybe Tyrone, had been drunker than most last night. He had leaned in during their late night rant session and said, "Yo, you ever heard of that mountain in South Sudan that eats people?" Ojukwe had chuckled. "What? Like literal cannibal rocks?" "No, man. It's like a sacred thing, a serpent. The mountain chooses someone, then boom, they disappear. There's even a ritual, and get this, a goat walks to your door by itself." The whole table laughed. But now, sober and staring at his hangover face in the mirror, Ojukwe found himself asking, "Why do I feel like I've heard this before?" He poured coffee, sat at the table, and pulled out his laptop, typed "Got Iwire Mountain." Nothing came up. No Wikipedia page, no YouTube videos, just a few grainy forum threads from some regional message board in Uganda, barely translated. Mentions of Serpent Mountain, only one man can feed it, Okwe disappeared, compass broken, heat signature vanished. One name stood out, Panyikwara, his mother's village. The hairs on his arms stood up. "This is ridiculous," he muttered, pacing. He was a scientist, an atheist, a product of Minnesota public education and Ivy League anthropology. He studied patterns, migrations, rituals, cultural constructs. He didn't chase fairy tales about ghost goats and talking forests. And yet, something was stirring. Not fear, not curiosity, even something deeper. A pool. The kind you feel when you pass an old house and think, "I've been here before," even if you haven't. A thread tugging at something ancient inside him. By Monday, he was in his professor's office. His boss, Dr. Medelson, sipped tea while looking out the window. "You want 2 months off to investigate a mountain that eats goats? I'll do field work, interviews, maybe tied to a post-war Acholi cosmology. Think of it as reclaiming ethnographic roots." Dr. Medelson chuckled. "You anthropologists get weirder every year. Take your time, but be careful. Sometimes the stories are stronger than the people telling them. Ojukwe didn't blink. I just want the truth. On March 12th, he boarded a Kenya Airways flight. Minneapolis, JFK, Addis Ababa, Juba. His luggage contained a drone with thermal imaging, compass, EMF scanner, GPS beacon, audio recorder, 3 anthropology journals, 1 stubborn belief that nothing supernatural exists. As the plane descended over the brown, hazy rivers of South Sudan, Ojukwe felt uneasy. He chalked it up to jet lag. In Juba, he met the general, the same man who told the original Got Iwire story years ago. His hair had gone silver. His skin tapped softly as they walked through the mango grove. "My son," the general said, "you want to prove it wrong?" Ojukwe nodded. "Just remember, books may teach you where we came from, but not everything we've seen. Some places protect themselves. Some things don't want to be found." Ojukwe smiled. "That's why I brought a drone." But in the land of Got Iwire, technology does not matter. Logic bends, and the mountain chooses. The sun was low when Ojukwe arrived. Panyikwara was green and wide, rimmed with tall acacia trees and laughing children. Dust spiraled in soft clouds behind his vehicle. The elders had been informed. A son of the soil, gone for over 20 years, was returning. Not just any son, the son of Alima, who had once brewed the finest ajono in 3 counties. And though few remembered his face, the name Ojukwe carried ancestral weight. The night the village gathered, a goat was slaughtered, a log fire was lit, and as custom demanded, Ojukwe was brought forward. A single egg was placed before him. "Step on it," one elder said, his voice like bark. "So the earth will know you have returned in peace." Ojukwe hesitated, then smiled. Crack. The egg split underfoot. Cheers erupted. He laughed with them, danced awkwardly to the Lokembe music, drank too much, but in the back of his mind, a question circled like a hawk. Why the egg? The next day, Ojukwe moved through the village with purpose. Voice recorder in hand, camera over his shoulder. He was focused, methodical, a man piecing together a puzzle. The villagers, respectful but cautious, offered what they could. One by one, the elders came. Their stories strangely consistent. They spoke of the Paliwa, a sacred sub-clan of the Acholi-American, of how only one male from the bloodline could perform the ritual. Not cousins, not nephews, only a direct son of the lineage. And then they told him about the goat. "You do not choose Got Iwire," one elder said, his eyes cloudy but fierce. it chooses you. When the mountain hungers, the people suffer. Crops fail, children fall sick, accidents happen. That is how we know. Ojukwe scribbled furiously. Then the goat comes, alone. It walks from the wild bush, across farms, through villages, and stands at the door of the chosen man. It doesn't bleat, it just waits. And this happens every time? Ojukwe asks, raising a skeptical brow. Every time, another elder replied. The goat is a messenger, a harbinger. If the man refuses, misfortune worsen. If he accepts, the elders prepare the feast. They describe the meat roasting, the songs, the herbs rubbed into flesh. How the other men of the clan accompany him only partway, under the edge of the forest where the trees grow so thick they block the sky. From there, an old woman added from the side, "He must go alone." Then came the description of the feeding, each elder telling it with hushed reverence, as if speaking it loudly would summon the very creature. "He lays the food on the ground gently," said the oldest man, his hands trembling, "and brings the goat tied with rope, the same goat that chose him. Then the earth starts to move," said another. "The branches shake, stones rattle. It sounds like 100 trucks rolling through the underbrush." "But there are no trucks," whispered a third. "It is Got Iwire, a serpent longer than a school building. Its eyes glow, its tongue tastes the air, and it is not alone. It comes with others." Ojukwe stared at them, unsure whether to be intrigued or horrified. They eat the meat first, slowly, in silence. The goat doesn't scream. It simply dies, as if its life was collected without pain. Then the elders said, pausing, "They drink the blood." A long silence followed. "When the mountain has eaten," one added finally, "the chosen man walks back alone, and those who waited eat the leftovers. It is done." Ojukwe leaned back, swallowing hard. "And what if someone who is not chosen tries to do it?" he asked. The room grew cold. "Ask about Okwer," said a young man quietly, glancing at the elders. "He tried. He wasn't chosen. He walked for days," the old woman said, her voice flat. "Thought he was going forward. He was only walking in circles. When we found him," the eldest man said, "his hair had turned white, and he no longer knew his name." "Do not go there," another warned. "If Got Iwire wants you, it will send for you. If not, stay away." Ojukwe nodded, took notes, but he had already decided. 2 days later, he packed his gear at dawn, told the young boy that he was visiting a cousin in Obo, slipped away on a borrowed motorbike. In his bag, a thermal drone, compass, EMF scanner, camera traps, tent, enough food for 3 days. He parked near an abandoned path that led towards the foothills. Locals avoided it. He welcomed it. The trees grew older the deeper he went. The ground softer, the air heavier. Within 2 hours, his compass began to twitch. By noon, it spun like a child's toy. He smiled, amused, probably iron ore in the rocks. But then his EMF scanner beeped, loud, sharp, then fizzled. The screen lit up with symbols that did not belong to any written language he knew. Circles, slashes, ancient glyphs. A glitch, he said aloud to the trees. He flew the drone. It showed nothing, just a blank void. He changed filters, switched to thermal. Suddenly, movement. A pulse. A massive heat signature just beneath the canopy. It slithered, slow and deliberate, like a river with muscle. He tried to zoom in. The drone glitched, froze, then crashed into the treetops. Silence. That night, in the tent, he turned on his radio. Static. Then whispers. Not English, not Acholi, something older. He awoke the next morning, certain it had only been a day. His watch read 7:48 a.m. He walked, mapped the area, passed the same rock again, the same twisted tree, the same bird nest swaying above. Impossible, he muttered. He tried hiking west, ended up back at camp. GPS failure, he told himself, but in his bones, a cold dread was building. The days blurred. He began talking to himself, then answering. At one point, he saw the drone again, hovering. But it wasn't his. It was watching him. Back in Panikwara, they started to worry. The cousin in Obo said Ojukwe never came. A search was organized. On the 5th day, cattle herders found him kneeling in a clearing. He was barefoot, his eyes wide open, skin scratched with branches, clothes soaked from morning dew. "How did you find me?" he whispered. "We've been searching for days," one man said. "That's impossible," Ojukwe replied. "I left yesterday." Back in the village, Ojukwe didn't speak for hours. He sat beneath a tree, clutching a notebook, scribbling symbols. When he finally spoke, it was in a voice that didn't sound like his. "I wasn't supposed to see it." The elders gathered, whispered prayers, called Lakuo, the local seer. She looked at him and shook her head. He stepped where only the mountain may lead. Weeks later, Ojukwe returned to Minnesota, gaunt, changed. He never published his findings. He left academia. He keeps a wooden carving of a snake on his desk, and every winter when the snow falls and silence returns to St. Cloud, he wakes up at 12:15 p.m. with whispers still echoing in his ear. He came to disprove the myth, but the mountain had its own lesson. Because some truths don't want to be explained. They want to be remembered. And Got Iwire remembers everything.
Ojukwe, Got Iwire, time is broken. He came from snow, from far away, Minnesota skies to red dust day. A notebook in hand, a plan so bold, but some stories burn when told. He said, I walk with reason's mind, but forest paths don't care for light. He tracked the sound, he flew the drone, but some hills stand too much alone. Got Iwire, mountain that sees through time. Got Iwire, you feed, you rise, you climb. Ojukwe, Ojukwe, you look too deep, the forest wept. Got Iwire, some secrets on for men who slept. They warned him once, they told the tale of goats that walk without a trail. He laughed it off, this isn't real, but the mountain made him feel. The drone went dark, the sky went blind, symbols danced on screens in rhyme. Compass spun, time slipped its thread. He walked a day, but days had fled. He was lost, he was gone, he was found.